Megan was, you know, especially when she talked about, I didn't know what curtsy was. She was like making fun of it. Like, you don't do that.
You're on Facebook Live right now.
Oh, okay.
You just went on Facebook Live.
Oh.
It's just dirty laundry.
Yeah.
You don't show your dirty laundry. You don't share family stuff. That's what I say. But there's my girl right there. All right.
Going live soon?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. But you are on Facebook Live right now. Okay.
What if I put Facebook on my phone?
Yeah.
Will I be able to?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the first thing that came up.
Cool. All right. I'm getting there. And here we go. Good morning, Facebook.
Time to rise and shine. What? Time to pour the coffee with Bill.
He wants to be human.
Time to rise and shine with Bill.
He has all the ingredients for disaster.
Time to get going with Bill.
He is phenomenal.
Welcome to Baker Street with your host, Bill Baker.
Chair dancing.
I'll do my finger dancing.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Good Morning Sun Prairie on a stroll down Baker Street on a chilly willy Monday morning, and just a few days before Christmas. Yeah, I don't have Christmas presents. I don't have them all laid out yet. I have to tell you, I'm running a little bit behind. I got Liam. I've got to get my grandson his stuff yet. Get that out to Philadelphia. That may be like 1-800-Amazon. His dad and his mom. I got to get my dad's present to him. I haven't done that yet. I can't believe that I've fallen behind in my duties as a son and as a grandfather. But did take care of Jordan. Jordan's got his stuff, man. That's cool. That's Terry's kiddo, her grandson, and so that has been that's exciting, I tell you. Hey, I want to let you know that you only have a few shopping days left, so you got to get out there, get it done. You do, and don't forget 5 days. That's Maureen Crombie. She's my guest this morning. When Brent Eisberner will be here too. 6 days.
Counting today.
What's that?
Counting today.
Counting today. We should turn your microphone on. It would work a lot easier. It's one of those microphones. I never know the numbers. Is that a 2? I think it's a 2. Now talking to it.
Hello?
There you are. Okay.
Okay.
All right, taking that one out. Had a great weekend, and I played Santa all weekend for the Lions Club. It was my last night. That is 4 weekends in a row that I've been Santa every Friday and Saturday night, along with my fellow Lions members. This past Saturday, we had 5 Santas that were out and about and visiting all of our neighbors and kiddos, and we'll talk a little bit about that because it's fun. Oh my gosh, is it fun. And I'll share some stories with you. But this morning, what I want to talk about is a little bit of a follow-up from last week. And Maureen, Crombie, Brent Eisberner, and I are on the Prairie Citizens Police Academy, and it has been phenomenal. Am I exaggerating?
No, not at all.
And so we want to talk about it because Prairie, we think you need to know about what's going on. And here's the beauty of this thing is you can be a part of it too. You really can. So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about this thing called soccer or something like that. I don't know. Soccer.
Oh, yeah.
The World Championship or World Cup or World, what is it, Frisbees? I don't know.
World Cup.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I want to know what kind of presents you're getting your kids, too. Because, as Santa told me recently, Pokemon cards are back. And you know what bums me out about that, Maureen, is that Alex probably had a few hundred of them.
Yeah, my kids did, too. They were really big back when they were
Yeah, and where are they now?
Oh.
Landfill.
We don't have them anymore. We should have saved them.
Oh, my gosh. We had the gold ones. We had those solid ones. I mean, it's absolutely hilarious.
Well, there was a store in Prairie where my kids would go to with other kids on a Saturday morning, and they would play this Pokemon thing.
Right.
And I can't even remember what the name of it. It's not there anymore, but it was like over. It was a children's store that we had years ago.
I don't know.
But
I got nothing.
I think it was where Cannery Wine and Spirits is now.
Well, it's a little weird. Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll get to that. We're going to talk about gift cards. Should you give gift cards? Should you give gift cards as Christmas presents? Especially like Quick Trip gift cards.
I have a story for you on that.
You do? Well, hang on to it. You got to save it then, right? Okay, but come on, now you got me going here and I can't even think about what I was going to say. Oh my gosh. So it's going to be an interesting morning. We're going to have a lot of fun and going to have you involved. You're listening to 103.5 WLSP, the Sun, right here in beautiful Prairie, the Prairie Media Center's home of Station of the Year. Awarded by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association, and I love to say we beat WIBA, we beat JJO, we beat Triple M, we beat the Milwaukee stations. Your little bitty radio station, 103.5, legitimately won Station of the Year. So proud of that. And as now the new president of the Friends of the Prairie Media Center, I can tell you we're going to get that word out. I promise. We got about 6 months left to brag and shake our tail feathers and all that stuff. So, you know, it is. I'm pretty proud of it. I'm not pretty proud of it. I'm really proud of it, I tell you. Hey, but as we do every show, let's kick it off. We are celebrating Christmas. This is Christmas week. This is the Christmas show, so we'll be talking about it. Well, we got to get things started. So as we do, Fishing in the Dark, right here on 103.5 WLSP. Good morning, everybody. So you're still on Facebook?
Not now.
Yes, you're still live on Facebook.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I thought you meant if I got on it. So, yes, I am.
Yes, you are.
Did you watch the soccer game?
No. I watched a little bit of it,
but
I don't understand it. And then I get bored with it.
It's a lot like hockey.
I get
with offsides and.
If we didn't have fighting in hockey, I probably wouldn't watch.
Way to go, Argentina, though.
Woo! Didn't you want France to win?
No, of course not.
Why?
Argentina's closer to Wisconsin. Once the USA was out of it, I kind of still watched it. But
Madam President, I think we should have a sister city in Argentina.
Yeah, sure.
And you should go down and visit.
Where's the next World Cup?
I don't.
I'm going to look that up.
I won't lose sleep over it.
Well, I'm curious because I always told my son I was going to take him to a World Cup game.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Patty Hall, good morning. Happy holidays. What's that crap? Merry Christmas to you. And a Merry Christmas. And a happy, well, it would be Hanukkah starts today. First night, or first lighting of the, or was that last night?
That was last night.
That was last
Yeah.
night. This is the second day of Hanukkah.
Yep.
Second day of Hanukkah. Patty, where are you today? Are you driving or are you at home? If you're still on. Yeah, you're still on.
Oh, we have to wait till 2026 for the next World Cup.
The World Cup.
FIFA World Cup. There's 2 World Cups.
They wanted me to, some people here at the school just wanted me to broadcast or be the announcer for soccer. I'm like, I have no idea. I mean, Alex
How to
played.
announce it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex played like maybe 1 or 2 years when he was a little bitty thing.
Yeah.
And then he found football, and that was it.
So it's the opposite for my son. He started out with soccer, but then he played football 8th and 9th grade, or 7th and 8th grade.
Yeah.
And then when he got to be in high school, he told me he didn't want to play football anymore.
Okay.
I'm like, well, then you have to choose between soccer or cross country. So I kind of kind of tentatively. He wanted, if he didn't want to do either one of those, I wouldn't have made him. But
Sure.
then he chose soccer, and he's so cute. He was so cute back then. He's like, Mom, I have to work twice as hard as all the other boys because they've been playing for years. It's like he made varsity his sophomore year.
Oh, wow.
But I remember him telling me that. He goes, yeah, I have to work twice as hard as the other boys just to
get in there to play.
Yeah.
I gotta make sure the music switches.
So I guess the USA, Canada, and Mexico are going to share the 2026 World Cup in Toronto. And then 3 games in Mexico.
Time of the year, with the kids jingle.
See, this is all good conversation.
So who's won the most World Cups, I wonder?
Who was Pele with? Who did he play for?
Was it France?
That'd be an interesting question. Hey Google, who's won the most soccer world championships? Spanish teams hold the record for the most wins in each of the 3 main UEFA club competitions. Madrid with 14, European Cup, UEFA championships. I don't even know what I'm looking up here. I don't even know
Because
if
we have to have so many different types of cups. We're talking soccer.
Yes. Not red solo.
Okay.
Well, that could be a good cup. Come on. Where are you? We're going to the Red Solo Cup. Yes. It's like football games. We're going to the toilet bowl this week.
Yeah. That's right. Hey, where are the Badgers going? Do they make it to a bowl game?
Oh my God. Yes. We play Oklahoma State.
Oh, when?
In the.
On the 26th, is it? Or?
Is it the 26th? The day after? 31st. No.
Oh, where are the Packers? Or
Packers?
Where are the Badgers playing?
It's Arizona. I immediately checked on airfare and stuff. It was
Yeah.
like $1,000 for the airfare.
So it's in Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're playing December 27th
27th. There you go.
Yeah.
I can watch it then.
on a Tuesday at 8:15 p.m.
Well, I can watch it. It's
I
okay.
know.
Because we're heading to Florida, and we come back the 26th. Now, being able to watch the
Oh.
Badger game down in Fort Myers in
Yeah.
a home that a lady of about 87 years old. That means she's watching weather all day.
Yeah. When are you going to Florida?
The 22nd.
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 That's like
Thursday.
Thursday.
I know.
When the snow starts.
Yes.
Apparently. So
Yes.
Well, you'll just probably make it out of here just in time.
I know. We have to fly to Green Bay and sit for 3 hours.
Oh, you might get stranded and beat Green Bay then.
Oh my God! I told Terry. She booked the tickets, and so.
Green Bay must have gotten a pretty good price, huh?
Like 200 and something, but it's a Legionnaire.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Do you ever fly through? Do you ever take Sun Country?
Or maybe it's Sun Country.
That's what it's. Yeah, that might be another name for.
I didn't book
country.
it, so
yeah.
As you can tell, I don't even have it on my phone. Okay. She'll probably be listening right now. She goes, "Damn it! I told you what we were doing."
Yeah. So Thursday, 90% chance of snow right now.
When?
Thursday. And it starts at 7 a.m.
And we fly out at 3 p.m.
Oh, but you're going to be flying out of Madison to
Madison to Green Bay. Sit for 3 hours. We get in at like 11 o'clock in Fort Myers.
Oh. Well, it's supposed to continue until 5 a.m. with snow. But it only has like one little snowdrop thing, so. Oh, Friday's going to be snow too. You know what's nice about going somewhere warm?
What's that?
In the winter?
What?
The winter doesn't seem as long when you come back.
Oh, I know.
You know.
Here we go. And they said it's going to be in the 50s. I thought, I'm wearing shorts. Oh, man, I love me some Christmas music. Oh, my goodness. You know, I think we should be doing Christmas songs year-round and then take one day off and have, like, Mean and Nasty Day or something where you can be naughty. A naughty day. One naughty day. Go out and be naughty. And the rest of them, 364 days, it's all Christmas and you got to be nice and everything. That would be kind of cool. Hey, you're listening to Good Morning Sun Prairie, and we're strolling down Baker Street. This morning, I've got Maureen Crombie in studio. We're waiting for Brent Eisberner right now. We're going to talk about the Sun Prairie Citizens Police Academy. And before you roll your eyes and go, really? We got some stories to tell you. And I think you're going to find that it's actually a lot of fun. It's kind of exciting, and you're going to go, what? In part of the conversation. But what we've been talking about while the music was playing, and you by the way, you can go on to, I'm pointing to the screen and Maureen's going, what are you looking at? You can go to Facebook if you want to see behind the scenes and see our smiling faces, because we're up and ready to go this morning. I almost was not. Oh my gosh. But we're on Facebook, so you can check us out there. We're on YouTube also, on either the Sun Prairie Media Center Facebook page, or go to Baker William J, the letter J, and you'll find us there. Got a lot of people watching. Kathy Gibson, oh my gosh, I got a bunch of Michigan people I went to school with that are watching right now, which is kind of cool. But so we were talking about soccer. That's about as exciting as I got. No.
Go Argentina.
Go Argentina. Listen to you. And I was saying, you know, when I was in high school, we didn't have a soccer team.
We didn't either.
We didn't. I mean, you didn't play soccer. We didn't even play it at recess. We didn't play it in gym class. We just didn't do it. And then it took off. Now, my son, Christopher played a little bit, and Alex, he played a little bit. Good morning, Saeed. He's watching right now. I know. Maureen says hi.
I haven't seen him in a while.
We haven't seen you on a ballot in a while. My son, my youngest, played, and when he was little, then he found football, and there you go. But even when he was in soccer, I couldn't figure out the damn rules. What's this offside stuff? I mean, if you're way ahead of the other players and you get a breakaway, that should be like 2 points.
To me, it's like hockey when it comes to offsides. I don't understand the hockey's rules.
Well, yeah, hockey too. I mean, the best thing about hockey is fights, but are those checks? Oh, they call them checks. That's a check into the wall. Boom! Going down the ice. Boom! But so you were watching this?
This weekend.
Yeah, you did?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why
Just
were you
bits and
watching?
Pieces of it. Because I love soccer.
Oh, you do?
I mean, you get soccer. My son used to play. He played all year round.
Yeah.
And I love the sport, and it's just there's more. They run. They actually do.
They run. Yeah, football players don't run.
It's more of a short. What do you call it? Like a short
burst?
impact or
a burst, short burst.
I mean, I love football too.
Yeah,
so I just like watching both sports.
Terry McElroy, good morning. She's watching us right now. Hey, well, here's the difference. Soccer, you can just run forever.
Yeah.
And then when you kind of get hit or winged or whatever, you throw a drama fit, you know. You know they do that, right?
Yeah.
So you see the replay. They were never even touched, and he's down there rolling in pain like he's dying. And then the next thing you know, he's back, he's up. Football, it's a short burst into a wall.
Right.
Boom! Little 230-pound running back runs into a guy, 6'6", 360 pounds. Boom! That's a brick wall, man, I tell you. But, yeah, soccer. There's a lot of people out there that love soccer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. A lot of soccer players still use their heads, though.
Oh, they want to outlaw that, you know.
I know.
For concussions.
I was surprised how many did this year when I was watching it.
Well, they were talking about concussions. You know, they always talk about concussions. And
right.
They're proving that it is an issue.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these guys playing soccer. Can you imagine a concussion playing soccer? And from heading the ball. Brent, are you coming in here or are you just going to stand around? These damn aldermen, they just stand around waiting until somebody talks to them. I don't know.
Oh, that's not true.
No, you were here. Brings in his... Oh, man, I tell you.
He's got his caffeine.
Yep.
Put your headset on. Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Look, I got the two superstars in at the same time.
That's right. One of the two best alderpersons in the city.
2 and 3. McElroy's one, you know.
Oh, Terry's online. That's right.
Well, she's not online. She's watching us, but
yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of like being online in a way when
Right.
Facebook, you know. Terry's one of the best too.
Well, she's in the 1st district, 2nd district, 3rd district.
Yeah, Terry's one of the best in the 1st district.
Pull that towards you.
I hope Alder Soccer isn't listening.
I know.
You know, and
Well, finally, he's not somewhere. You know, Steve Stalker is everywhere. This time he's not here, so that's a win, I think, for us.
Yeah, he gets around the city for sure. That's for sure.
I bet he's listening.
Did you play soccer?
No, I didn't. I don't like running that much.
So it would be safe to say that if we ever see you running, we should run too.
Yep.
Just
absolutely.
not faster than you.
Correct.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you could.
Oh, ooh, wow, there's a challenge in there.
My daughter never wanted to play soccer either.
Oh, no?
Because she didn't want to run that much. No. She played softball instead.
Man, it's like kick it over here, kick it over there, kick it over here, kick it back over here. Oh, kick it out of bounds. Okay, bring it back up. And then you got the rules about throwing it in bounds and stuff. You know, your feet can't leave the ground. It's got to be overhead. I don't know what that's all about.
I used to coordinate soccer programs.
You did?
Yeah. When my kids first started playing, I coached, and I had no idea what soccer was about. This was when they were in kindergarten. And then their dad stepped in, and he coached too. And then I coordinated it through the Y in Cambridge. And this was for kindergarten through 5th grade.
Yeah.
And so I had to put the teams together and hire the referees and go out there and make sure that nobody was upset about anything. And so it was a great time. Yeah.
Well, it just, like I said, we were talking while the music was playing, and that they asked me to announce soccer for high school. Actually, they're going to pay me to do it. Be my first paying gig as a broadcaster. I don't get paid for this, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 385 hours last year. Yeah. You know, if we put some dollars to that, well, having 2 alders here, I could work on this, you know. Soccer's been fantastic. Hey, you guys are here because the 3 of us have been doing something that I'm blown away by. And that's the Sun Prairie Police Citizens Academy. And thanks for coming in and doing this bright and early. I know you had to get the kids off, and you get up early and all that. I really appreciate it. I really do. But this thing, folks, it's an activity. It's an event that the police department puts on once a year. And I'm already campaigning for 4 times a year. And Ray Thompson's like, well, I can't do it 4 times. He said, I don't have enough time to do that. I'm like, dude, we'll work on it, all right? We'll figure it out. So they put on this event that really shows you what our police department is all about. They are, am I exaggerating if I say they're completely transparent?
They are, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They don't hold anything back, folks. I'm telling you, you go in and you're learning everything that they do, from how they give speeding tickets, how they approach people, how they feel about what do you call them? Perps? No, perks? No, not perks.
Perps.
Perps.
I think is what you're looking for.
That's it. The bad guys, that they have to, the people of interest. I know I'm not being politically correct. I apologize. That's called a disclaimer, Maureen. Okay, good. I got that all the way. Now I can say any damn thing I want to say right now. But no, seriously, they have an attitude about how they approach the citizens of Sun Prairie. And then something we're going to come back to, what we found out as we were at the Deerfield shooting range, why we don't have one in Sun Prairie, I don't know, but we're working on that. We've never had an officer fire their weapon at a human being in what we figured out, 27, 28 years?
Yeah.
And there's never been a fatal shooting by a police officer. Wow!
I know, that's impressive.
Wow! So who wants to go first? You're late, so you can go first.
Okay. What do you want?
Ladies
me to
first,
talk
Brent.
about?
There you go. Well, tell us about your
About
experience.
the experience? Okay,
Yeah.
well, I took this class 29 years ago when I first...
29 years ago?
Yep, shortly after I moved here to Sun Prairie.
So
And
how did you get introduced to it?
Actually, I just read about it in the paper
Okay.
at that time because, they didn't have social media or anything like that back then.
That's how old we
But,
are.
yeah, I don't think they started social media until 2009. I'm aging myself. Anyways, but I saw it in the paper and I thought, oh, this would be interesting to
Yeah.
find out more about our city since I just moved here. And then I took the class when I was first elected as an alder, and I thought, because I thought, well, I took it as a citizen, now I'm going to take it as an alder years later. This was back in 2016. And then I thought, I'm going to take it again, 6 years later, and, Ray was telling me, Lieutenant Ray Thompson was telling me about it, and he was telling me who was in the class, and I thought, I'm going to take this class, and so here I am again the 3rd time, so I'm just kind of auditing the class, but every time I take it, I learn something new all the time. So
Well,
I think the most interesting thing is how we do our community policing.
That
And just the
is
vision
amazing.
of being proactive versus
Well, yeah. I mean, the whole thing. I mean, you turn on the TV, you see negative on the blue. A lot of it's negative on the blue. A cop shot somebody or whatever. It doesn't give you the full story out there. And I'm going to say that I don't think the media gives the fair story to it. And what I found was completely different, thinking, oh my gosh, I'm glad I'm not in that situation. And you and I got to partner, Brent, on one of the things where we're clearing a room, and if we had had weapons, I would have shot him in the butt. Because our instructor came over and go, your weapon's in his butt right now. But for you, I mean, you've actually done a little bit of this. Okay, a whole lot of this from military side. And I can't imagine you walking in these rooms.
Yeah.
Wherever.
Well, and what I really like about it is there is some, correlation between how the military does things and how the police department is with regards to just making sure you're safe everywhere you're going, or your partners are safe and things like that. But in the military, we would roll into a building with a lot more people than the police officers do, and so that's what caught my mind when we were doing the room clearing.
Yeah.
Is you only have a couple of officers, maybe 4, and and that is a lot, for them to have, especially in Sun Prairie. We don't have a lot of police officers on duty at all times, so it's similar, but but in the military we actually had more people, which made it, in my mind, a little bit easier to go through. And the other thing I really liked about this course is a lot of things, but you get to see the police officers as people. They're very upfront and honest with
Yeah.
you. It kind of lets you interact with them more, but also the just the knowledge of everything that our police officers have. And when I say knowledge, I'm talking from legal knowledge of the statutes to personal knowledge with members of the community, who they're interacting with. When, even the children in the community, the school resource officers, they know which students have issues with other students and rivalries and all this stuff. It's just, they know so much about the city. And I liked being able to have one-on-one time or, small group settings with the officers just to learn more about what they know.
Well, even the school officers in that, what do you call them? I forgot.
School liaison officers.
That's it.
Yeah.
They even know the family background of these kiddos. Wow, I was blown away by that. And the thing that got me, I can't remember which one when we were talking about this, but they were saying that really they don't want to arrest somebody. That's not their goal. Their goal is to build relationships. I'm like, what? You got a guy causing problems out there on a domestic or something. You want to go out and build a relationship with him? That was kind of, I'm like, isn't their job just to go out and arrest him and get him away, or her, get her away, It was that attitude that they were presenting. And it wasn't just one set of officers. It was through the entire force that we met with. And it was interesting, I thought. It's like they were talking about the mental health side of this and having a specialist now on staff with the police department. They don't want to take them to a mental health facility because it adds added difficulties on the individual. And people are probably going, what? Just arrest them, taken care of. Well, no, they don't just arrest them, because if they arrest them, they take them downtown to Madison, to the jail, but then they have to transport them to, I think they were saying Green Bay.
Yeah, it's a 2-hour drive about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happens is they go through their thing in Green Bay, and then how are they going to get home?
Right.
Some of them can't afford it. Some, they just don't have the resources. So now they're stuck in Green Bay. Well, we wouldn't see them back at Sun Prairie. It wouldn't be an issue in Sun Prairie anymore, but Green Bay's probably going, yeah, Sun Prairie's just shipping us all their people. That's it.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Did you get that sense?
One thing, excuse me, doing some criminal defense work too, I've seen how when an individual gets, placed in the criminal justice system, mainly from the courts, that can actually spiral problems. So oftentimes, tickets, fines, jail, all those things can lead to missed work or lost jobs, which then, it really spirals the individual downward.
Uh-huh.
And it was nice to hear our officers think about, okay, there's an issue. First, let's find out what caused the issue, and then let's find out how to help that issue. And it's not like some Prairie police are letting everybody go. They're not.
No.
There is repercussions for, if you break the law, you're going to get in trouble for it here. But it's, as you said, it's not just, here's your ticket, or, we're putting you in jail now and have fun in the court system, that type of thing.
Have a nice day.
Exactly. There's follow-up with it. And with the, like you said, with the new mental health officer there, a lot of times some of the, reasons why criminal activity happens is there's a mental health problem, or there's a family problem, or something that requires some social work involvement to help solve. And it's great that our police officers and our police department as a whole are looking at solving that root cause to prevent any future crime.
I just love their whole mindset. I was surprised by that. I really was surprised by Teresa McElroy. Citizen Academy is one of the best programs to educate people about the community. I did it in 2010, and I do know the Academy curriculum has changed somewhat. I found the program to be an eye-opener and left me with a total respect for our police department, says Seymour. Police department and community. And you're exactly right. That was my eye-opener, too. I was like, wow, these guys just aren't slamming people across the car and putting handcuffs on. Well, that's, you watch TV enough, you watch the shows, and that's what I think they do. Just like, lawyers are all about, never mind, we won't go down the lawyer track, just to pick on Brent and that. But, so it's your second time to do this, Maureen? Third time. Oh, well, sometimes you got to do.
I know.
things
I'm
three
just auditing this time.
Well, no, but
I consider myself.
But I don't think that's a bad thing.
No,
You're making it sound like it's a bad thing, because you're getting a feel as a citizen of Sun Prairie, more importantly, as the president of the city council, exactly what our police department is like. And you get to interact with those officers.
One thing that has not changed since I've taken this class is the problem solving.
Wow.
They talked about it back, when I first moved here. They talked about it back in 2016, and they're all about being proactive and being a problem solver.
Oh yeah, I like that. The whole process. Something that, and we got to talk about it, but people don't realize is that there are four officers patrolling at a time. 6 of them probably on duty, then a sergeant, but there are 4 people going north, south, east, and west at any time. That's it for 37,000 people, and they do a pretty good job. I think they do a pretty good job.
And they do a very good job too with collaboration with other officers in other communities.
Right, they do.
So,
working with Dane County Sheriff, state police when they have to, they say.
Right.
State police when we have to, But to have those 4 officers, and then what happens is if you have a domestic or something in one of the areas, that pulls another officer away. So now you're down to 2 officers patrolling only their sectors in the city of Sun Prairie. So when we talk about, or when Chief Steffes talks about, I'm shy 7 officers, it makes you wonder. Doesn't it? Makes you think. I know I'm talking to 2 aldermen here, or alderpersons, excuse me, and I'm not going to put you on the spot. Well, maybe I will, but it doesn't make you wonder if a police chief is saying, I'm shy 7 officers. Can you help me with that? I think right away, let's not do the leaf blower. Let's hire a couple more officers. And those are tough choices for you guys, I know. But
well, and it is budgeted to where the police are getting additional officers.
1 a year.
Correct. It's 1 a year, and our population, thankfully, I think is going to continue growing. So 5 years from now, I think we're going to be in kind of the same spot, and it's something that I would like to see is more officers. With more officers comes more vehicles, comes more maintenance, and so it's not something like we can just snap our fingers and here's a solution to the problem. But you also have, and you alluded to it earlier, the media hasn't, especially over the last few years, hasn't really given officers a good social view, and some of it's justified, some of it may not be, it depends. But also, it's even if we have spots for officers, we have to hire those. We have to have people that want to fill it. And then once they fill it, they have to go to the police academy, then they have to go to field training and whatnot.
6 months.
Correct. And so even if you hire an officer, it's going to be a while before they actually get out into the community and can operate on their own.
And didn't they give us like an estimation of like $200,000 per officer? $100,000 for the officer, training, salary, benefits, and all that, and then another $100,000 vehicle and training and all that. I mean, it was. And okay, I get that. Driving around with I don't know how your rides were, but I mean with Jack Wilkinson. I mean, we had a busy day. It wasn't like Bethany had, where they're dealing with somebody that was schizophrenic and spitting out on them. I mean, but we had somebody that there was a theft of an employee theft at Quick Trip. And we went there, and it was handled. We were the backup on it, but it was handled very calmly. And I like how they talk to these people. And the employee went, I took about $800 worth of stuff. Okay, all right. I got some bracelets for you. We're just going to talk about this a little bit more, and we'll take a ride if you don't want. I want to show you my car. Okay.
Well, I think we need to still. Our police department has so many resources out there too. We've got the neighborhood navigators, we've got the cameras. So I think
what cameras?
As time goes on,
cameras
in the parks. And,
we do,
and they've got the cameras on their.
Oh, on themselves? Yeah. Oh, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Police cam.
Well, and in the parks too.
We do have cameras in the park?
Yep.
Not in every park right now, but it will be eventually in every park. And they also are getting the pole camera that they can set up to help as well. So,
what's that about?
So basically, it's just as it says, it's a camera that can be mounted onto a pole. But for Corn Fest or the large public events, officers can only see what they can see, so they can strategically place these cameras, and that will give the ability for somebody back at the office to watch and monitor the crowd. And if something were to happen, It gives them the ability to look back at the footage to find out what happened, who caused it, those types of things.
Talk about the camera that is at the entrance of town or something. Is that the one that reads license plates?
We don't have that yet in Sun Prairie, and Chief Steffes and I have talked about that quite a bit. I, just from an individual liberty standpoint and Fourth Amendment.
Here comes the lawyer.
Yeah, it just, they rub me the wrong way because it's indiscriminate. It scans every license plate that comes through and gives data on that. Now, is that a valuable tool to solve crimes? Absolutely. If there's a stolen car, it can flag it right away and officers can get there. But I think that as a society, we need to balance, the surveillance state versus individual liberties, and it comes down to, if you have nothing to hide, what are you worried about? Well, I have nothing to hide, but I still don't want my license plate being scanned by the government every time I pass a certain intersection. And so there is I believe Chief talked about a pilot program for the flocks or the license plate reading, but that is a new technology, and the legal system always takes a while to catch up to it. So we're also going to be monitoring what challenges come from that.
Sure.
Because even if you stop a criminal, there could be a Fourth Amendment issue, and that could lead to that criminal going free. Again, the court system hasn't caught up with it yet, at least not to my knowledge.
You're going deep on us here.
I'm sorry.
It's 7 o'clock
No,
in the
this is
flipping
good
morning,
stuff.
But it is good stuff. It really, and what he's talking about, what we're talking about, is a camera that actually just monitors traffic coming in, and it sees the license plate. If it's a stolen car, the red flags go off and alerts everybody or whatever, and so they know that the car is in the city. Madison has them. We were told that.
Mm-hmm.
Madison has them. And that also sends an alert out to Sun Prairie or Middleton or wherever to let them know that a car that was stolen in Sun Prairie is now in Madison. And so that side of it was interesting. Our last meeting here with the detectives, that was surprising also. And, he has the advantage because he has this background, he understands evidence and all that.
Right.
Did you ever realize that we have to store evidence as long as we do?
Well, I knew we had to. Yeah.
You did?
Mhm.
For the
Yep,
length of
because-
time?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, because you've been through the class before? Or?
It was because I went through the class in
Okay.
2016. They were talking about this. Yeah.
I mean, it's just surprising as hell. I mean, what were they saying? For the full length of the term that somebody is in prison, we have to hang on to that stuff.
Yeah.
The sweaty T-shirt sitting in a box somewhere. Oh my gosh, it's probably worse than hockey equipment after about a year,
Well, it's all sealed in a bag, so that helps.
Don't open that bag. Don't open that bag. But it was interesting in the way that they gather evidence and all that. And then the one that surprised me was when we were seeing the video of the group of guys that were just beating the hell out, or stripping this kid, chasing him, and then they took all of his clothes off in an apartment complex, and nobody did anything that we know of. They could have called the cops, we don't know that, but nobody intervened. Now why? They're carrying pistols. I guess if I saw somebody carrying a gun, I might go the other way too. No, I may pull out this Superman shirt, come out there.
Yeah. Well, and that is another thing when it comes to the community. From that incident, I don't know if anybody even called the police department. In the video, you saw vehicles pulling into the parking lot and parking, and it was nighttime, so perhaps they didn't see it. But if they did, I would hope that somebody would call the police. That's what they're there for. So, and I think Alder Virgil talks about it quite a bit in his time where he grew up. When crime came to a neighborhood, what really helped push it out wasn't just policing, it was neighbors and their involvement. And so, he was talking about with neighborhoods, all the windows closed, garage doors closed, and neighbors not knowing their neighbors. He said, that's a really bad thing, because if I am going to be coming in and, let's say, having a drug house or something like that, I don't want neighbors knowing what I'm doing. I don't want neighbors being active in their community. So that's an area I'll look for. But if we have neighbors that know each other, talk to each other, always are, interacting with one another, I'm not going to pick that neighborhood because I don't want neighbors knowing what I'm doing. And so I think Alder Virgil was right on the point that as a community, when we talk about the increase in crimes that are happening here, it's not just the police's responsibility to solve it. The community needs to get involved as well and just be good neighbors, look out for one another.
Well, look what we heard in the stats. I mean, the shootings are up. We had 20 shootings year to date. The shootings are up in Sun Prairie, and you can go in different directions on this and point fingers. The thing about pointing a finger is that 3 of them are pointing back at you.
And unfortunately, they're up nationally and in the county.
Right.
So,
but to have our little community like Sun Prairie and their shootings are up in there, and how do you stop that? I don't know the answer. I don't think the police know the answer. Except for, as you were just saying, we got navigators working with communities, building those relationships where they say, yes, we know who shot, we know who fired that gun, and this is where you need to go.
When I think of it too, is when I first moved into my neighborhood, Smith's Crossing, I actually had like a block party. We did an Easter egg hunt. I made it a point to get to know my neighbors, and we did have an incident that did happen in our neighborhood. And we had people that would call the police, and they came, and the neighbors knew about it. We all know each other. It's like what Brent said. It's neighbors helping neighbors,
sure.
and that's so like with Alder Virgil too. It's all about community, and the more we can get like neighborhood navigators, community schools, the Sunshine Place, the more we can get people out there to get to know the neighbors. The stronger the community is going to be.
You're exactly right. I think to do that, we need to introduce more people to this program. And I think the city needs to somehow allocate the dollars to this in education. There's got to be money somewhere for this. That's going to permit 3 more times a year. If you do it once a quarter, the entire thought process about the police department would be huge. Even if you're working with young people. Now, Mason's in the class. We had a young guy in the class, and he's not that young. He's in his 20s and all that stuff. And I was trying to gauge him and his interaction, and I don't know if he gets it or not. I don't know if it comes with maturity or not. Interaction or not. I don't know if he's ever been pulled over before. It's just, but to get that whole mindset about that guy wearing a blue uniform or wearing a badge is not a bad thing. He's actually there to help you, protect you, watch your back.
And on that, so first I think the course is great, but as a citizen you can contact the chief or Lieutenant Thompson and you can set up a ride-along, and they'll be very accommodating to you. Before I was on council, I did a ride-along here just because I wanted to know what our police are doing within Sun Prairie, and I've done lots of ride-alongs in my past, but I'll never forget the officer said, I apologize, this has been such a slow day, and I looked at him, I said, this was the busiest I've ever had, like busiest time on a ride-along.
Oh my gosh. What happened?
A lot of things. We had a drunk driver, a couple speeding people, and then we had a infant choking on some food.
Oh my gosh.
And then we were looking for a missing person. We randomly just saw the car of interest pass, and we stopped out and talked with the individual and found out why he was not with his
why he's missing.
Girlfriend. But again, it was I was there for the entire shift with him, and it was just incredibly busy compared to back where I grew up in Wisconsin Rapids. I did ride-alongs there because my father was a police officer. There you'd sit down, and the highlight of the day might be pulling somebody over, that's doing 10 over instead of only 5.
Oh my gosh.
Now Rapids has changed, obviously, over the last 20 years. But citizens, the police academy, I would highly recommend anybody take it that can. But also, if you just want to get to know an officer better or the department better, you can sign up for a ride-along, and the police department's very accommodating. So that's another way to get community involvement, I believe, with the police department. And I don't know if everybody knows you can just call the department and say, hey, I'd like to do a ride-along.
When I rode with Jack Wilkinson, and we were supposed to do 4 hours. I did 8 hours. I did his entire shift. And he says, why are you doing the entire shift? I said, because I really want to get to know what you're doing. And I said, I just want to learn. And I said, and don't hold back on me. Don't change your day because of me. And I know Jack. And I said, I'm really here to learn. And he didn't. I mean, he was just absolutely fabulous. And I said to him, so here's the thing, Jack, I want to ask you, because all I hear about is all the speeders that are happening, all the speeding, bam, 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 down the streets in Sun Prairie. Everybody's speeding. He goes, let's go find out. I'm like, what do you mean, let's go find out? He goes, let's go set up and we'll track it and we'll give out some tickets. I'm like, wow, cool, all right. So we go to Windsor Street, right at Grove and Windsor, and that's where he likes to park. Did you hear that, Sun Prairie? And he faces west. Now his radar goes both east and west, and we did it 2 times. We broke it up, but I was counting cars that were going by us and all this, and we hit 100 cars. We pulled 2 over, 2 out of 100. That ain't bad. That ain't. The first one, I thought the woman was completely just, she was going to lose it. She was just tears and sobbing. Come to find out she's in her company car. And it was kind of funny because it was a polka dotted car. I won't tell the rest of what company this was, but doesn't need to go that far. Her biggest thing is that she got pulled over. She didn't know where she was. She was trying to follow maps, and she wasn't familiar with Sun Prairie, but she accelerated, and she was over 40 miles an hour in a 25. I think it was 42 exactly. But she was just so distraught. Well, Jack went over there and just calmed her down. He goes, well, where can I help you? How can I help you get where you want to go? She goes, man, I've never been pulled over before. I've never received a ticket. And he ran her information, and it was true. There had been no wants, no warrants, no history there at all. And her main thing, he gave her a warning. Because he doesn't believe that a paid ticket really benefits or has the same effect as a warning does. He says the ticket sometimes just ticks people off. The warning, they feel very grateful. And so he gave her a warning. And here's her comment. Do I have to tell my employer about this? And Jack's like, what? That's up to you, honey. If you want to tell your employer. And guess what? She did. I thought that, because I know who her boss is. And I heard about it. But that's, wow, now the second one, greatest story of the whole day. One of those Dodge Challengers. Oh yeah, dark. Got the tinted windows on that. Vroom. It's going 45.
Ooh.
And rollers nails this guy. Right? I love saying nailed this guy. Pull over, goes up. He goes up, and while Jack's at the window, which Jack and I are not little guys. Our butts would stick out big time in that road. And I'm watching that and I'm thinking, man, that dude he's way out in the road. I was worried about him. I felt like getting out and going, giving
traffic.
Move over! Move over! Getting flares out or something. Jack's in the way. Come to find out that the guy's talking to his wife on the the speakers of the Bluetooth system. He just got his license back that morning. And he's driving a rental car from Enterprise. Now this is where it gets good. Jack comes back to the car, and so the officers come back and they put in the information about they want to see what's going on. Here's his driver's license. Here's the person, and his rap sheet came up as long as my arm. For crimes that were pretty violent. And I said to Jack, is this going to change, or influence your decision on what you're about to do? He said, no. I'm like, wow, really? He said, no. He says, that guy did his time. He's done. There's no wants, there's no warrants. We have no other reason but this traffic situation. And so the guy had surrendered his license because he went to jail. And so Jack says, I'm going to use this situation to build a relationship, because right now he's thinking he's getting a ticket because I'm just one of those damn cops, And he says, I want him to have a day that he can celebrate getting his license and talked to everybody to say how enjoyable it was to get pulled over, and gave him a warning, and talked to his wife and told his wife to tell her husband to slow down when he gets home. What a story, though, right? I said, did you do that because I'm here? He goes, no. He says, I got 3 more years to retirement. I don't change my ways. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, how was your experience?
You know what? I haven't had a ride along during this class because Ray hasn't scheduled one yet.
Yeah, we got it. He's, he got Ray's in here on the radio all the time. He doesn't.
But that's okay. I'm going to email him today.
Oh yeah.
I've done lots of ride-alongs, so yeah. But I hate the fact that I can't get out of the car when I do ride-alongs, but.
Yeah, I'd like to go up there. I'd like him to have a microphone so I can hear everything. Now, it was a nice day, so I'm listening. I wanted to get out and walk up the sidewalk and go, nee, 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 nee.
There's just see more of it.
Lawyers ruin that. So.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, well, it's liability on the city if they, and that's the same thing, like if there's let's say a high pursuit or something like that, they actually have to let you out of the vehicle before they can go assist because it's a liability issue.
Oh, man.
Even though you sign waivers before you get in, it's better safe than sorry.
Wow. It's I hate to tell you, Brent, but it's a liability just to wake up in the morning.
Yep.
For somebody, somewhere, at my house. Look out. Got to brush my teeth right away. Oh.
I remember doing one where there was an underage drinking party.
Oh.
And so there was like 3 police cars, and it was at an apartment complex, and they left me alone in the car, and I saw all these kids running. And I actually wanted to get out of the car and chase them or tell them to stop.
Oh,
but of course you couldn't, but.
You had to sit there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I was a lot younger then, but.
I probably would have jumped out.
Just
Terry McElroy says, it takes staff and resources to provide this program. That is tax dollars. I'm not saying I don't agree with you, but you should agree with me.
Well, and I think Alder McElroy is correct. It does take, the staff. All right, we've already said we don't have enough police officers, and they're giving up their time to come and talk to us at night for hours. So they need rest, or else they're going to get burned out, because after our class, some go on shift, some work the next morning, things like that. But then you also so the staff has to want to do it. But then, we went to Deerfield, and that was a great night of live fire.
Oh my gosh, we're going to talk about that next.
But again, that took additional officers to come, and with every request we have to, provide this course, it is a big sacrifice by that department. I remember my dad teaching the Citizens Police Academy back in Rapids, and I was a little kid at the time, but I was like, why do you have to go in at night? And so we have to think about their families as well, and all
sure.
that. But it is
I get that.
great course. Yeah.
But I think it's the culture that we're establishing. We could have the culture and the mindset of Minneapolis, or we could have the culture and mindset of Sun Prairie. And that interaction like that starts from the top and comes down. I mean, that's Chief Steffes. It's people like Lieutenant Ray Thompson. I always mess that up. And it's that whole culture side of it. And we saw giving. I mean, they were happy to be there. But you're right, because the day I was did my ride, 3 cops went out with the flu. And so they were going to be doing double shifts. And they're tired. I mean, one of them had just come off the night, and I'm there at 6 o'clock in the morning, and they're going to do another 8 hours. Like, oh my gosh. Thank God they're not pilots. But let's talk about the Deerfield situation. That was fun. I liked it. What we're talking about is we were taken to Deerfield. Deerfield has a shooting range. Is that what you call it? Yep. It's underground. It's kind of cool. It's in the basement of this business that sells accessories and pistols, rifles, and all that. We don't have this in Sun Prairie for some reason. We're just this podunk, farmer town that can't have things like curling rinks or gun ranges underground, stuff like that. We have to take our police and drive them down to Deerfield to let them practice and stuff.
Doesn't Bristol have something?
Yep, Bristol.
Not underground, though, right?
No.
Is that Sun Prairie?
No.
Okay,
No,
thank you very
it's
much.
close
Alder.
to Sun Prairie.
My Alder. That's not Sun Prairie. Sun Prairie doesn't benefit from that influx of people coming in to want to shoot pistols and rifles and big frickin' guns like you had. But here, so when we went to Deerfield, we got to shoot a 9mm pistol and at targets, and then we also went through a simulator. I enjoyed both of them. I really enjoyed the simulator.
Yeah, me too.
But what is it about shooting a pistol? You know, Laura Stanfield, who's my co-host on Wednesdays, she will never touch a pistol. That not negative mind. Terry, she's shot a pistol before, but she wants nothing to do with them. She won't even allow it in the bedroom. They're down in my office in the basement in a closet.
Probably don't want to tell.
They're locked up, right?
Yeah. Well, thanks, bud.
Well, it's those castings that bother me.
Those what?
The castings when the shots are
Oh,
fired.
the shell casing.
Yeah, the shell. Yeah.
Oh, I love that smell of gunpowder, though. Nothing's better than gunpowder in the morning. We're gonna go out here and shoot a 50 caliber later, outside here, right outside the library.
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
So what is it about shooting a pistol or holding a weapon that bothers people?
Well, I think so. I've trained a lot of people. I teach concealed carry here in Wisconsin, and I think a lot of it is just people haven't had the opportunity. When I was growing up, again, it's not that long ago, but when I was growing up, we still had high school shooting teams, and we came from a deer hunting community. So I remember the schools closed down because all the students would be out deer hunting and things like that over Thanksgiving. But I do think that a lot of people haven't been exposed to it, and there's a lot of the TV and movies, which I think show an unrealistic viewpoint of what a pistol is. So I think a big thing is just training and education, and I think that the more that you can go out with somebody who knows what they're doing and fire the pistol, you can realize that, yes, it can be a scary object, but it's a tool, and if you use that tool as it's supposed to be, it's safe to do. And unfortunately, you hear stories all the times of children that find a loaded pistol in the house, and those are completely avoidable accidents or tragedies. But again, it comes down to education and experience, and I think if somebody wants to go shooting, I'm always willing. Hey, you buy some ammo, I'll take you out to the range, and we can shoot a whole host of different weapons.
And ammo's not cheap today.
No.
But do you enjoy shooting a pistol, Maureen? Wow.
Let's see. I started out with a BB gun.
Yeah, me too.
When I was younger, but it's all right for me. If I had to shoot it, and like Brent says, it's all about education.
Sure.
And experience. So, yeah. But if I'm going to have a gun in my home, I'm going to have it locked up, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, you should. Yeah.
So, which you should, yeah.
Where would you keep it?
Would
you keep it by your bed?
Yes, I probably would. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, me too. But I like one of the officers said that the best weapon you can have is a shotgun. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, why? Because you get a bigger spray. And he goes, no, when you go in the dark, people hear it.
Yep.
I was surprised. I never fired a 9mm before. It's actually heavy. And I felt like it was tipping down. And when I'd hold it, I felt like it was dropping down. I'm like, wow, this. And Dave Huckster and I were side by side, and Dave, he's hilarious. He's like, I got you on this one. I said, oh, I don't think so. And so then the competitive juices just came out. He's a big deer hunter and the whole thing, and so I'm trying to shoot the bullseye out, and his are all over the bulls or the target and all that. But at the end, I'm getting tired, and it's spraying off a little bit to the left. Mm-hmm. And then when they wanted us to fire and keep the trigger squeezed, that was a chore.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't easy to do, and then just let it out and then fire again and fire again. I'm like, wow. But I'm amazed though. I go back to this thing of what scares people about a pistol or a weapon. I think it's just our media that does it.
I think it plays a role, but again, I think not every family has a firearm in their house.
Yeah, that's true.
Quite a few people have never held or seen a firearm before, and all they know is what is depicted in the media. And again, I look at a firearm as it's a tool, and you should treat it as a tool. And if you do so, then there's no secret. I really enjoy competitive shooting and sports shooting and things like that. But even my kids with the Nerf guns, that's when I start teaching them. You don't walk around with your finger on the trigger. You keep your finger straight off the trigger until you're ready to fire, and you don't point it at people and things like that. Right. And then I say, now the only rule to this or the only exception to this rule is if we both agree we're going to have a Nerf battle, then we can point them and shoot them at each other. But I actually think that some of the toy guns, the Nerf guns out there right now, they are, some have detachable magazines that you can put in and out, and I think it's a great training tool for children that you can show them. And I'm pretty confident if my son were to walk into a room and see a firearm there, the first thing he would do is tell an adult, and if an adult's not there, he's able to eject the magazine and lock the slide to the rear. And part of the reason he can do that is because those Nerf guns right now, some of them have where you load a magazine, you actually kind of rack it back. So I think that, again, it's a lot of education and just experience, because people are scared of things that they don't have experience or knowledge of.
I was sitting here listening to you talk, and I was trying to figure out if I was in the second grade. My grandfather owned a taxi service, and he had a big garage and all this. He gave me a small 22 that shot a small 22, not a 22 long, 22, and we would go out in the garage, and he had these, I don't know, what do you call it? They're like big wooden blocks. And he would put a target on there, and I would get to fire that rifle. I was a little bitty thing, but I was also being taught how to handle a weapon and how to respect a weapon. And he put things like pennies up there, and we'd back up, and then I'd hit that, and then we'd back up a little bit farther, and that. But here's the other thing is, and I'm going to show my age, Maureen, is that 4th grade, 5th grade, my cousins and I were out on the farm, and we're hunting. We're looking for squirrels or rabbits or whatever. I'm carrying a fork. Our grandfather is in the house. It's just Robert and I out there. And now, why was that permitted? Because he had taught us. We had gone through all that, how to respect a weapon, how to cross a fence row, how to carry the weapon and all that. So I've never had a fear of a gun at all. But I understand how people can. Now, let me add to this. I've had in my family, my grandfather on my father's side and my sister are both suicides. And so people are like, well, how can you have a weapon in your house with that? I'm like, well, it wasn't the gun that really killed. It was the people that killed themselves using a weapon. They could use a knife. Would I hate knives after that or something? So that respect thing, I think, is huge.
Yep. And I think that again, falling back on just training and education, if we want to, again, there are people out there that carry guns that, in my mind, have no reason. I just don't think they should have a gun because they've never shot it before. They've never trained with it. All they see it is, oh, look at this, I have a gun now. Look at me, and they're sloppy with it, and that's how you end up shooting yourself in the leg or something like that. And just because you're trained with it as well doesn't mean, all right, I did the training once and I'm good in the future. Shooting is a perishable skill, and safety is a perishable skill. And one of the videos we didn't get to see in the class, but everybody can YouTube it. You actually have a firearms instructor up there manipulating a pistol in front of a class, and he shoots himself in the leg.
Oh my gosh!
And it's because he didn't keep his fingers straight and off the trigger, and he violated the fundamental safety rules of the firearm. And so then afterwards, he's kind of limping around a little bit trying to save the class, and he goes, "All right, now hand me that rifle over there." And everybody in the crowd's like, "No!" So it's funny, you can look back at it and laugh because everybody was, except for the instructor, was uninjured. But even just because you take a course once doesn't mean that you are going to be efficient or proficient with that firearm in the future. So it's a continuing training that needs to happen.
Yeah, it's like flying, I think. You just can't fly once, get your license, and then you got to continue to fly.
Yep.
If not, you won't be flying. You might be plowing fields. But so the weapon side, and you brought over a 50 caliber pistol. I'm going to tell you, I don't think those cops have been that happy in a long time. Now, please note that we weren't allowed to shoot it,
Yep.
but the coppers were.
Yep.
And they were so excited. And how was it, $200 or $2.50 or $3
Yeah, it's about
per bullet?
Yep, about $2.48 a bullet.
Thank you for your contribution.
No problem. That's why I only shoot it once or twice a year.
Oh, and who, was it Gary that was my instructor? I can't remember his last name. Do you guys remember? His wife is Jen. She's also an officer. Ah, God, I can't. Schultz? Gary Schultz?
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So he's in there. I got a video of it, and he's firing that 50 cal, right? And boom, boom, and every time he fired, the target waved up. I'm like, yeah, he missed. No,
Yep.
bullseyes, both of them. I'm like, holy crap.
Mhm.
And by the way, I did beat Dave Hoekstra. Dave was all over the place. I was trying to get that, all the way around. I almost did it, but that's okay. But that was one of the fun things. But what it did put in my mind is, why doesn't Sun Prairie have its own range? So we don't have to, our officers don't have to pay another community to go do that.
Where would you want it to be?
Someplace safe and wherever it wants to be, they got the guns. Well, we've got a tack shop, isn't that what they call it? Tacticals? Over by Walmart?
Yep. Yep.
I don't know. When another community has something we don't have, I go, why? Curling rink. I told you about a curling rink. I don't know if you've ever heard me talk about a curling rink before, Terry McElroy, but she's actually helping. She's looking into it. Why don't we have a curling rink? We spent 2 hours yesterday up in Arlington. I mean, it's like, why did I have to drive to Podunk, Little Arlington to go curl? Actually, I had to teach Terry and Jeff Robbins, who are going to be curling in a Bonspiel with me in January. And
What about the Sun Prairie Ice Arena?
they have a curling rink on their ice, but it's on the same ice that they play hockey. And those
They're
two
always
ice
cold
surfaces
hockey.
are not the same. Curling rink has little bitty pebbles on it. So it goes flat, and then they come back, and it's actually funny. They got a little thing, it's like a wand, like you see at church, blessing you over here. They're blessing the ice for curling, and it puts pimples on the ice, or pebbles they call it. And that's how the rock or the stone moves, which is kind of cool. But yeah, we don't have one in Sun Prairie. But just to let you know, 40 Lions are going up to Medford, little town of what, 2 people, and they have a curling rink there. Yeah.
Well, I
To
think,
curl.
Yeah, when it comes back to the firing range, one, location's important.
Yeah.
But if you have an indoor range that is, in the basement and things like that, the soundproof, neighbors aren't going to hear it.
Right.
But the other issue is you have to have somebody that wants to own and operate a firing range, and if that's a city, if you're suggesting that the city does it,
No,
well, then
not the
how are we
city.
getting money for that?
No.
And if you're suggesting that a private corporation or entity does it, then you have to find that person that's willing to jump through the hoops. I looked at setting up a firing range in Madison and partnering. It was right on Capitol Square. There used to be a bank building that went out of business. And
American?
It's just a bank. It was right on Capitol Square, but in the basement there, they had. I looked at it. I said, "This is already set up for a firing range. It was completely safe." But then you have to look at all the city ordinances, state statutes, things like that to get the permits for that range. And quite frankly, there's a lot of hoops to jump through. So to get somebody to want to own and operate and go through those hoops is also a challenge.
Okay. That just sounds more like lawyer stuff. I mean, that's fine. Bring
My
a
girlfriend's husband owns the one in Deerfield.
He's got to do well.
He lives in Cambridge.
Man, I looked at all that inventory he had in there, and being someone that has carried inventory before with Baker Healthcare, I was looking at the dollars in there, kept thinking, how many turns he has on this. But he has to be getting business, or he wouldn't have that level of inventory.
Yep.
Or and how long's he been around?
And he's a part-time police officer.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
Well, that makes it even better. So we could get a police officer. Maybe we talk to Ray. We'll put him into business, help fund him and all this, and make that happen. Jack Wilkinson, he's going to retire in a couple of years, so maybe
Maybe
give
you
him
want to
some.
make that happen.
I don't know. Maybe. or Christine, let his wife do it, because then he'd get done right.
Right.
Now Jack's going to hear that and go, Bill, I don't know about you. So what's the biggest thing that came out of this whole academy for you, for each of you?
For me, it was the education, what's happening in our community, like how many shootings we've had and just the type of crime that we have in our community. I thought that, everything was just so amazing, of course. A lot of it, even like when we had our police liaison officers, when they were or the resource officers at the schools, when they talked about everything they did, I was very impressed. Yeah. And I think of like the city of Madison about a year ago, or I think it was a couple years now.
No, a year ago.
Where they
pulled them out.
Yeah, they pulled them out. And
that was crazy.
Why did they do that? Because when you talk about building relationships and you see police officers there,
yeah.
They're not in uniform when they're at the schools, and it just makes a better community. Where you can have that relationship, engage with those students, prevent things from happening.
I think they should be in uniform, by the way, in the schools.
Well, they got the gun. People know who they are and everything, but
I still think they should be in uniform. Because how do you get over a fear? You address it directly.
Yeah.
One of the biggest fears out there are snakes. I used to keep them in my pocket. My mom's biggest fear in my cargo short pants as a kid was that I would come home with snakes in my pocket, and then she'd have to do the laundry, and bingo, there's a snake, because she's deathly afraid of snakes. Because as a kid growing up on the farm, originally they were on the original farm, the Starks farm is what it's called. My mom's last name was Starks. 600 acres. Then they had an outhouse.
Yeah.
They had an outhouse. There you go. That's history right there.
Yeah.
So she was in there once, and up on the door jamb, and she's going to the bathroom, is a big black snake. When she was alive, she used to love to tell that.
I bet.
She says she's never gone to the bathroom so fast in all of her life. But what I was going to say is that to get over the fear, if you handle them and you get to know them, that fear goes away. Mm-hmm. If you have a fear of heights, you go up to the heights and get comfortable being uncomfortable. And, and so
that's why I go to the Marriott Hotel in Middleton, because I'm afraid of heights, but I go up there just to look down.
Terry's scared to death of heights too. But so the thing is that if you want to get comfortable with police officers, if they're around all the time, it's just another person in a uniform. Yeah. That would be the same as saying somebody in the military being in a uniform with a sidearm in school. Would that give them the same fear?
Well, I think, sorry to just,
that's okay.
On this topic, I think part of the reason they don't wear a uniform is they're trying to break down some of the barriers that currently exist. And so if we put them in a uniform, eventually, yes, that may show students that, hey, it's just another person. He's just wearing a police officer. He or she's just wearing a police officer's uniform. But for the right now, the students know they're police officers and they look like their teacher or somebody that's approachable. So I think that's part of the reason why they don't wear uniforms, is it makes them look more approachable.
Yeah, I know.
But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And then, if I can.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just what came away for me from this course was, and I hinted on it already, but just the overall knowledge and agility of our officers, because every call, no domestic disturbance is the same. And if you think about it, if you're out in the community, who do you call when there's a car accident? You call the police department. Who do you call when there's unruly neighbors or people around? You call the police department. Who do you call? Just the width of calls or the breadth of calls that they respond to, and nothing's the same. Yet they always go into their cool, calm, and collected as they should. It just blows my mind every time I talk to them and say, what did you do today? Oh, we had an overdose here, we dealt with a speeder here, we dealt with this domestic, we dealt with this, mental health issue, and they're just going through so many things every day. It's just amazing to talk to them about it.
It really is. We've got a great group of people. I know that. Just the people that I've met, that I've been around, we've got a great group of people. My thing was sitting in the roll call that Thursday morning, and listening to them and watching them. They know everything that's going on in the community, and they know people in the community that direct attention to themselves. They were even throwing names out. Oh no, he's down in Milwaukee. He's in jail in Milwaukee, or stuff like that. And they know families also. They know the kids. They know the families. They may have to intercede with the kids, but they know the parents, and they know how to do that. And I was like, wow, they really do know what's going on, because they're reviewing all their notes from the night or the shift before that, and they were serious, but they were joking along the way, and so they're in touch with what's going on out there. They know what's going on, and I like the kibitzing we were doing back and forth, and it seemed like when we stepped outside the door, that game face came on, and they were completely different people. Same person, different attitude. And I think the three of us are the same way. I mean, we've got our fun face right here, but when we go to work, that game face comes on. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in court against you, by the way. I mean, you got a good poker face, dude. Man, you look at me and I melt. Jeez, you're my attorney. That's right. Thank goodness, I tell you. But I'm just so impressed with our police department, and I can't say enough nice things about it. I can't say enough nice things about it. So how can we expand this? How can we help them make that happen?
Well, one thing I think is just knowledge to the community that the program exists. I don't know how many of our residents know that this academy exists or know how to.
I'm trying really hard
to sign up for it. Exactly. And right now, I think that if Chief Steffes were to come to us or Lieutenant Thompson and say, "Hey, we've got all these requests to come to our academy. We're only taking 5 or 10%. Can we have some funding for a second one?" Or then we can look into, can it actually be supported and done both from a staffing and resource level.
There's got to be some grants. There's got to be some something out there. I could envision 2 types of academies: one for adults and one for kids. Completely different setup, a different language, different presentation, maybe put on by the school officers. I could see that. There's money out there. Our job is we have to find it.
And could they also film this?
Oh, yeah.
Some people out there would rather watch it virtually in their living room, and we'd still be educating, making them aware of what we
I think that's part of it.
do.
But wouldn't you say that you had to experience it to really get the feeling?
Right.
The simulator is the one that got me. That was my, besides, there's a lot of things I really enjoyed, but the simulator.
Yeah, I died a lot.
You did? Well, like Dave Huckster.
I got somebody in.
So we had our first call. So what we're talking about, folks, is down in Deerfield, while one group is shooting, we're in the simulator. Now, simulator is a real-life situation. It's video that's interactive. And you are the police officer. You're going in there and you're addressing whatever you need to address. And in our situation, the first one was a suspicious individual. So we meet a Michigan State Patrol officer. I kept thinking, why can't we use Wisconsin? I know, I'm Homer. I'm just Homer. And so we meet a Michigan State police officer. She has told us she's going to go around to the right, around the building, and we're going to go around the left to investigate this suspicious person. Well, we walk around, and Dave and I are together. Dave is taking the lead on this, so he's going to give the commands and the directions. And we walk around, and as we come around a corner, as we clear a corner, we see a guy up against the wall, facing perpendicular to where we are, and we see the Michigan police officer coming that way, and he's about to intercede with that officer. Do you remember this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so, am I describing it right?
Yep.
So from a distance, it looks like he has a pistol in his hand. And that was my first thought. And so Dave gives his commands to, hey, buddy, trying to get his attention. He turns and sees us and starts walking towards us. And at that point, it's not a gun. It's not a pistol. It's an axe. He's carrying an axe, and now he's walking towards us. And Dave gives him the command to stop. And he keeps walking. Hey, stop right there. So our pistols are up. And he continues to walk. And he stops for a second, I believe. And then all of a sudden, he just raises the axe and lunges. And I put a bullet in his chest. Dave didn't fire. That surprised me. Now, go to our second one. I wiped him out. I had a perfect shot. Right between the chest. Boom! He's not getting up. I thought, timeout break here is that you fire till they don't move anymore.
You fire until the threat is neutralized.
Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Thank you for remembering that, Anna. But you fire till the threat is neutralized. And that's why people wonder, well, why did you get shot 10 times? Well, because as Steph has told us that they could take 3, 4, 5 bullets and still come at you.
Mm-hmm.
So the next one we went to was a hostage situation. Do you have that one too?
Yep.
Okay. I'm taking the lead in this one, and we're walking down a hallway. We clear a hallway. We turn, and we see this guy has his back to us. There's a body laying across a bench, and all of a sudden this baseball bat from the guy that's back is to us goes up, and he just starts wailing. Bam, bam. And we're giving him, before that we gave him commands he didn't hear, just all of a sudden the action. Dave wiped him out, and then I fired because Dave fired.
Mm-hmm.
And then I learned that's a no-no.
Yep.
That's a no-no. But we talked about it afterwards. I said, I don't know if he was hurting that woman or if he was killing a snake next to her. But Dave wiped him out. But what I'm going with this one is that I was told that what I did was completely illegal. Mm-hmm. And that I would have an issue because I didn't fire because of the cause. I fired because of Dave. Oh my God. Mm-hmm. In a split second, you have to think of this stuff?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What'd you think of that simulator?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Well, you've done this in real life.
Well, yeah, but I think it really helps put it into perspective because, the simulator is set up too where they have situations they walk you through where it's a perfectly innocent and reasonable explanation, but the person's being kind of, non-responsive. And what I liked about the simulator is you could give commands, and oftentimes, it's set up so that they would follow your commands or not follow your commands, depending on how the situation's set up. But it allows people to see split-second decisions, and then, you can better understand, you don't have all the Monday morning quarterbacking, shoot or don't shoot, or, this was really bad. That happens after a officer-involved shooting. It's right here, right now. You have to make a decision, and then you have to live with that decision. And that's why I like the debriefing on it, too. So, like the one where the guy with the axe is coming towards you, one thing I noticed is the Michigan police officer, when he starts walking towards you, is directly behind him. So if you shoot, your round could go to her, so you should take an offset before you do that. Or the one with the baseball bat, the lady is laying down, and so when I shot, I aimed for kind of the upper right shoulder because I knew she was down and to the left. So it's just bullet placement on that as well, because when you shoot somebody, that bullet continues to travel until it stops, and you don't want to have that collateral damage that goes on.
My mouth's open. The cop situation. Didn't even think of it till this very moment. And I know where my shot went because they light up the shots and all that stuff. OMG. Oh my gosh. I never thought about it. And you're right. But that's just part of the training too. What's behind you on this? The lady on the bench, when I fired, my bullets were all over the place. I think I hit the clock on the wall. But I was going to go somewhere else, and I forgot now where I'm going with all this thing. Have you done a simulator?
Yeah, and it sounds, I didn't do it because I had another engagement that night. But
we missed you.
When I did it in 2016, it sounds like just the same type of
scenarios.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So. We watched Bethany and Connie do it, and this is where the guy was going into a storage unit, and he comes out with a box, and he's very talkative and all this stuff, and he's in there, and then he reaches in the box, and and they start shooting him. Now he runs, but he didn't grab anything. And so there was an issue too. I mean, I'm glad I sell real estate. I do,
Yep.
because the respect meter for our cops went off the charts.
Yeah.
For any cop,
Mhm.
but especially Sun Prairie Police.
Yeah.
It went off the chart.
Yeah, they have a tough job.
Yeah. But then to keep in mind, they have never fired their weapon at a human being as far back as we can remember.
Well, and I think that is a great statistic to have, but it also shows that the police work, at least in Sun Prairie, work towards de-escalating situations.
Right.
Because there have been violent confrontations with police here, but they use less than lethal or talk an individual down from it. So I think that it's a amazing statistic, but I also think it's a great statistic, and it speaks towards the training our police officers have.
Sure. No, they were talked about tasers
Mhm.
and the ineffectiveness of a taser, or how precise you have to be with that taser. Because people say, well, why don't you just tase him instead of shooting him? It doesn't work that way.
Mhm.
Especially right now when it's 5 degrees outside and you got multi-layers on. Those little burrs are not going to go through the clothing to stop somebody.
Mhm.
And at that point, you might be dead as an officer. So I get it. Or even running away. I never understood that the quadrant or the areas that you have to be able to shoot to penetrate to get the effectiveness of the unit.
Mhm.
And if they're 10 feet away, it ain't happening. It's just not happening. But people say, tase them. Go ahead, tase them. I get it. But, wow.
Well, and if you have the opportunity, you should volunteer to be tased once it's an experience.
Oh, yeah. Why not just take a baseball bat against the head, too, you know? Why not go in the ring with Mike Tyson for a minute? Yeah, okay.
But no, you actually learn a lot from just going through the proper employment of a taser, and it allows you to see when it works, when it doesn't work, and you also feel the effect on it, because some people, depending on where the probes hit, it doesn't get enough spread, so the muscles
Juice?
the muscles won't contract like they should, and you can actually reach down and pull the probes out, and now
Now what do you do?
exactly.
Fire another one.
Yeah. Hope for
Reload!
Yeah. Yep.
Well, being shot with a taser, just to tell you what it feels like, is probably about the same thing as going in to the building where they've put gas bombs or whatever.
Yeah, the gas chambers.
Yeah, and then taking your mask off. That's about as smart as that is, too. Come out and you're on.
I've done that before.
I know, the military does that. My dad was telling me about how they did that in basic training. They go into this room, they set off the canisters, and they got their gas mask on, and now take them off. Well, no, why? I mean, I got a good gas mask on here. I'm breathing well. I don't need to do that.
Brent, have you ever been shot with a taser?
I have.
You
a few
have?
times, yep. And then
I'll say more than once.
Yep, and then also with the OC spray, and then we also had
Oh, yeah.
some of they're kind of like grenades, but they shot out rubber pellets. We did all that when I was part of a embassy evacuation team.
Oh.
So we did a lot of riot control training and things like that.
So what's OC spray?
Pepper spray.
Pepper spray.
Yeah.
So talk about the pepper spray. I mean, we've heard about that in class, that it could be a bigger problem than actually help.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got to think about wind direction. So if the wind's blowing back to the officer, you'll get secondary spray, on you. And then they used to make this type that would foam up. So you'd spray, and I compare it to like silly string. It hits and it would foam up. But then what the police departments and militaries realized, people would take kind of and scoop it out of their eyes and throw it back at the officer.
Oh.
So that didn't work. And then also, if you're in a confined room like we are now,
Oh.
if I spray you, you're going to feel
Yeah, I'm gonna feel
quite
it
a bit.
too.
We all are.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine?
That was a big thing in college. People were
Mhm.
buying pepper spray like crazy.
Mhm.
I remember.
Yeah, but oh my gosh, I like that. I can't remember if it was Ray or whoever it was that said, just know where the wind is, which way the wind's blowing.
Yep.
Wow. Oh my gosh. So what have I forgotten? What have
When we went into the rooms, or
clearing the rooms?
clearing the rooms. Yeah.
Where I shot him in the butt?
Yep. Every time I watch Chicago PD, I think of that when they go and clear houses. And
Yep.
I'm like, oh, have they been educated on what it's really like?
Wow, that was because when I was talking about that I shot Brent in the butt, it's because we were partners on this one, and where I was holding my weapon, was in his hip area.
Yep.
And the trainer went, "Great, you just shot your partner in the butt." I'm like, "Thanks a lot, man."
Yeah, and I think it's cool too, but it also allows us to just briefly see for a second. Imagine we're not going through this training. It's an actual real life event, and these officers, again, just a couple of them having to go into a room. The lights could be off, they could be on, it could be nighttime, just all these different scenarios, and who knows what you're walking into. And it just, again, that's where I would rather be rolling in with 13 to 30 of my Marines versus a couple cops.
Right.
Yeah, but you're throwing in a percussion
yeah.
boom, and people are like, "What the hell just hit us?" Right.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was in
Can
our.
we talk about active threats?
Yeah, go ahead. Do
that
that.
was. I wish we would have had more of that. We had a very small session on it, and it was just very.
Well, what are active threats?
Active threats would be like
describe one.
A shooter.
Yeah, where?
Like in a school, or somebody in a grocery store, or somebody that's basically threatening people.
Sure.
Yeah.
And how they handled it. I thought the discussion that was Ryan.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Ryan Cox.
Right. Yep.
I thought he did a great job. I would like to learn more about that too, and I think we're going to set up another time to do that. But you weren't there that day, I don't think.
Correct.
Yeah. But we also got to punch each other.
Yeah.
Oh man, Lori.
Sad I missed it.
Freaking Lori went to town on me, and then I'm going to hit her. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't hit you. Come on, you can hit me. Give me your best. I mean, she's taunting me. I'm like, go ahead, woman, taunt me. I can give you a good knee to the.
I had Dave. Dave's so tall and
I
I'm
know.
so short.
Well, that's huge. So the active threat thing, what was interesting to me about that is that what Ryan shared was they immediately review any active shooting that occurs out there as a training implement for their staff. And what was right about it, what was wrong about it, and the one in Texas, but I got to tell you, I mean, we were just playing pretend cops, but walking down a hallway, not knowing what's down there, with no cover at all, I might be a little nervous. I might be a little hesitant on that. If my kid were in that class, wouldn't think twice about it. Yeah.
Well, and I think that as well, that the nervousness or fear that just accompanies those situations. A lot of times that's when you fall back on training. So it's great that our officers look at other real world situations.
Yeah.
Like, this is what worked, this is what didn't. Now let's go train an active threat situation, because the more you train, you're still going to be scared if the situation happens, or there's still going to be fear, but you just fall right back into the training that you've gone through. So.
We're talking about the use of your knee on the neck. Were you in that class?
No.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, I was in there.
And so what Ryan said is, that's used. He said the mistake that was made was that he wasn't on his side, and to maintain him. And George Floyd's who we're talking about there. That's the example we're discussing, and that the officers weren't listening to him. And as Ryan said, every one of them said, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. There's always something, or your handcuffs are too tight, they're too tight, there's always something like that. But he was trying to address it and saying that has been a technique that's been used in police. It's just that the way they did it was wrong. And
it's not used in Wisconsin, but unfortunately it was at that time used in Minnesota.
Right, yeah. But, I mean, I've never had to go up against a guy on PCP or anything like that, but I did have an ex-wife or two, so, they can be vicious. I'm telling you. You don't have an ex-husband, do you?
Yes, I do.
Well, see, then maybe you might know this. I'm telling you. They get a little vicious once in a while. So it's something that you'd recommend to everybody.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Mhm.
So if you want to learn more about this, what you need to do is contact the Sun Prairie Police Department. If you want a person to contact, Lieutenant Ray Thompson is the person. But if you call, don't call the emergency number, call the direct number. I don't have that, but I'm surprised I don't on the paper. Call the direct number, not the emergency number, and just ask. Say, I'm interested in the police academy, and I want to know how I can sign up for it. And do it right away because it will fill up fast. You can also do the fire academy.
Mhm.
There's one for the fire.
Yeah, I was in the first one that was done.
I want to
And
see
I
you
think
carry a
Brent's done
hose.
One too.
Yep.
Oh, it's I'm a farm girl.
Yeah, the Fire Academy is a great experience.
Yep.
You've done that one too?
Yep.
All right, that's my next one. I'll call Garrison and get on that one.
I have the non-emergency telephone number.
Go ahead.
608-837-7336.
Do it one more time.
608-837-7336.
Fantastic. Thank you for doing that. And thanks for coming in and talking about this. I appreciate it. I really enjoy it, but I just got so much out of it that I wanted everybody to know about it. And what I really wanted people to know is, man, we got some great men and women that while we're sleeping, they're watching our back. And they're there. They're patrolling. The things they look for and the experience level that we have and the leadership we have with Mike Steffes and his lieutenants is an assistant chief also. I think he's retiring though. The assistant chief?
We
We
have
have a woman.
Oh, we do? Oh, that's right.
Right.
What's her name?
Oh, it's awful.
I was going to say.
I know.
Card over there. Yeah. I finally met the assistant chief, and I have another meeting coming with her because she is great experience back in her prior job. And when I was speaking with her the other day, I always said, it's one thing to hear it from the boss.
Yeah.
But it's another thing to hear what's going on, to get a pulse of the department from everybody else underneath. And so I have a meeting coming up with her. She said, again, the brief time I spoke with her, very knowledgeable and a great asset to have.
Well,
Yeah, she
Steffes.
came from the Milwaukee area.
I know. Steffes, Shanta, Boston.
Yes.
Thanks, Terry. You're awesome.
And she just started a little bit after COVID started.
Oh, that's right. And I apologize that I've never met her. I know everybody in Sun Prairie. How come I don't know her?
She's a great lady to know.
I know.
Yeah.
I look forward to meeting her. But, like you said, getting to know these people. But when I ran for city council, Chief Steffes gave me 2 hours. He laid out his program. And nobody else did that. Garrison gave me an hour, and I got a medallion. Now, Steffes could have given me 2 hours and a pistol. That would have been cool, Oh, I know the other thing that came out of the Citizen Academy. I did not know that we could, right now, have a sidearm on our side, completely visible, and walk down the street in Sun Prairie.
Yep.
Or have an AR-15
Yep.
and walk down the street in Sun Prairie.
Yeah,
That's correct.
Oh, you?
I knew that.
I know, but you didn't like that.
No.
Well, but okay. Okay, so talk about that though. I mean, why? We got time. We got a little time left. We got 15 minutes. What bothers you about that?
The visibility, being able to see it, and it can be. I mean, I think that most people. I remember when this law was first passed too.
Oh, you do?
That I was working at the Corn Festival.
Is this a newer law?
No, it's been
no.
around for a
Yeah.
while now.
Right.
I forget. It was early 2000s.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, but I remember working at the Corn Festival at the gate, and there was a guy that had a gun, and I had to ask the police department at that time if that was legal.
Mhm.
And they said, yeah, that's fine.
Wow.
I guess just the visibility for me and knowing, when you have young children and, what could happen.
What's interesting is that the way you just said this, you had to ask the police department if somebody. They had one of the simulators was about a man that's on top of a woman. He's got her shoved down on the ground, and she's yelling, "You're hurting me! You're hurting me!" And the officer's there in the simulator, and you're coming up and say, "Hey, buddy, get off her!" And he's going, and he's trying to get her handcuffed, or he's trying to control her, and the officer comes up and is questioning him, and he goes and reaches in his back, and in the simulator, the cop that's doing the simulator shoots the guy that has the woman on the ground. Come to find out, it's an undercover cop.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to handcuff her. So in the situation you were talking about, you're at Cornfest, your guy comes in with a pistol or a gun or weapon on his side and all that, and we always go to the negative, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know? And I think partly Racine has to do with that too, with an AR-15 or whatever. But to know that kid walking down the street was not breaking the law. Okay, the lawyer just kicked in. He blinked and then.
Well, there are, so Wisconsin's kind of unique because it is more of a hunting culture.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the age to own a long rifle, you have to be 18 to purchase one, but because again, I think it's because of our hunting background, you do not have to be 18 to possess one. And the reason for that is when I go take my kid out deer hunting, he's going to have a rifle. He'll probably I haven't done it yet because I don't think he's old enough and ready for it yet, but he'll probably be 11, 12 years old. And so the way our statutes are written is that if it's with like a parent or guardian, then you can possess that long rifle there. This is not legal advice for anybody listening, but it is, Wisconsin's kind of unique, and I think a lot of it's because of that hunting culture that we kind of, was the history of our state for so long. But I also remember when open carry was first passed, there was a lot of issues because it does make people nervous, and people sometimes will open carry just to make people nervous, which I don't think is the right reason to do it.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
You'd have police called and then they'd get a disorderly conduct ticket. Well, then the Wisconsin DOJ came out and said, just because they're open carrying doesn't mean you can charge them with disorderly conduct. There has to be other facts behind it. And thankfully our officers know that, but I can tell you a lot of other municipalities will charge or have charged disorderly conducts, and then it makes my job easy when I go in and argue. There's no contributing factors.
Sure.
He's following the law.
Wow. Well, it keeps you in business. I mean, it puts food on your table.
Exactly, but the other thing to be careful of too is, so if I have a holster on my hip and I'm walking around with it, it's fine. But in the wintertime, we all wear coats, and as soon as I put that coat on and zip up, well, now that might be concealed, and if I don't have a concealed carry license, that's a problem.
Yeah.
There's also the whole 1,000-foot school zone buffers here, that if you're open carrying within that and you're not on your own property, you're going to go to jail. And
Bank?
Yeah.
Federal building?
Well, yeah, but the school zone one, I mean, do you know where every school is in every city in Wisconsin?
No, but at Sun Prairie I do.
Well, that's good.
Okay.
So if you're open carrying...
It doesn't matter about it. It's just Sun Prairie. We're the only
Right.
thing that exists.
Exactly.
Greatest city in the world.
If you're open carrying in, say, Wisconsin Rapids, and there's a private school that you don't know about, and you violate the 1,000-foot gun-free school zone, then you're breaking the law. But if you have your concealed carry permit, then you can carry a firearm there. You just can't be on school property. So there's a lot of just minutia. So I would suggest that you take a concealed carry class or talk to the police department to make sure that you don't accidentally break a law that prohibits you from owning firearms in the future.
So can I ask you a question? If you're a cop, are you always a cop, 24 hours a day?
Absolutely.
Okay. So if you're off duty and you're carrying a weapon, concealed weapon, you can go into a high school.
That one I do not know the specifics of. If you're off duty, I wouldn't assume so unless there's a reason for you to be there. But I do know that there are a lot of special provisions for police officers and allowing them to carry.
I was just curious about that. Hey, we got about 10 minutes left. I want to wish you both a Merry Christmas. Santa, I hope, is going to be great to both of you, and really reward you. I did check the nice list this weekend. I saw both your names on there.
Oh,
so
exciting!
I know, right? And so, what's the? Have you both finished your shopping?
I only have one more gift left to buy.
Okay. Did Lori finish all your shopping?
I was just going to say, thankfully, I'm married to a wonderful woman who has finished shopping.
And I've met her, and she is wonderful.
And I wrapped up all of Larry's presents this weekend.
You did?
Yeah, except for the one for me. I don't know if he got me anything.
So do you use...
I'll have to tell my mom the nice list.
Yeah.
Do you put wrap in boxes, or do you put them in bags now?
No, I do the boxes, and then I
Where do you get
really
them?
in with the ribbon at the stores.
You have to buy a box?
Yeah.
Remember when you could go to Macy's and wherever and Kohl's and they give you
And they
boxes?
give you boxes. I don't think
Yeah, they don't do that.
anymore.
No, they don't.
No.
I
Not even Amazon.
I was at Macy's. Oh, they'll wrap it for you for a price.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But I went to Macy's. I said, "Can I get a couple boxes?" And the lady goes, "Oh, you haven't been around in a while." I'm like, well, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "We haven't done boxes in years. It costs too much."
Oh, it might have been my sister you talked to.
Probably. I love
She
Macy's.
works there.
So, what about gift cards? Is it okay to give gift cards like from Quick Trip for people?
I like receiving them. Yeah. Yeah, I mean.
So I guess it's okay.
Yeah, I just, gift cards, they need to be spent. And for example, I still have a Gander Mountain gift card. Gander Mountain went out of business, and I've just held on to it as a reminder because, that's $50 that my family
You'll never
put
get.
on there, and it's never spent. And there's some statistic out there that gift cards oftentimes will never be redeemed.
Yeah.
And so it,
Yeah. Isn't that funny?
I think it's a fallback gift if you don't know what to get somebody.
There you go. What about you?
I know my daughter, she wanted to get something for Larry, and she always, what can I get him, Mom, besides gift cards? And Larry loves gift cards. And I'm like, and so I told her, some things, and he's like, "Oh, I could use some eye drops then." He goes, "But I really want gift cards, And so she ended up not getting him. Well, I'm not going to say on air what she got him.
Yeah,
but,
okay,
But
no.
yeah, but he was really disappointed because he wasn't going to get a gift card from
Aw,
her.
well.
But I like gift cards too,
So my oldest son lives in Philadelphia with his wife, Crystal. It's Chris and Crystal, and then my grandson Liam lives there. Well, I used to send a check to those guys, and I hate sending presents. I just don't trust the mail service, I guess. And I don't want to send cash in the mail.
Right.
So thank God for Amazon. I mean, so I'd load up their Amazon account with money, and so they can spend. It sounds so impersonal, but I am going to have toys sent to Liam today. I'm going to do that. I've waited till today, but I'll make sure Liam gets some good stuff,
Well, yeah, that's for the kids, of course.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta get them some good stuff. But
Yeah.
I'm waiting for my dad. I got to do my dad yet. My dad's like, don't do anything for me. I don't need anything. I'm 82 years old. I don't need anything. He doesn't need anything. But you got to send him something that I gave him an Alexa once. He says, "I don't need that crap. What am I going to do with it?"
Did he use it?
Never.
No.
So we're down there for Thanksgiving. It's hilarious. We must have used it 10 times.
Yeah.
He's like, "She just talks to you?" I'm like, "You have to talk to her first. She is listening, waiting for you. She wants those magic words, like Shazam, Great movie, by the way.
Yeah.
The new one, the Black Adam. Awesome movie. Every movie with The Rock is fabulous. But I said, "Yeah, you got to talk to her." And so I can't remember the questions we were asking, but it was hilarious. I mean, absolutely hilarious.
We have one of those Google things.
You do?
Just go, "Hey, Google,"
Oh.
and then
So I need to shut
Now
my
your
phone
phone's
off.
My phone just clicked on. I talk to her all the time. Sometimes
Yeah.
she makes me mad as hell, which for some reason makes me feel good. I don't know why.
I don't know what you're asking.
I know, right? Hey, I want to let everybody know that tonight, don't forget about this. Two things, huge things. One tonight at Sunshine Supper. It's going to be sponsored by Sacred Hearts. So stop down on Main Street, come in. Santa's going to be there tonight, and he'll have some surprises for everybody that comes through the line, even big kids and little kids. I'll be there tonight with the Sun Prairie Lions Club, supporting the Santa and giving out stuff. So once you come down, it's meatloaf tonight. Sacred Hearts is known for their meatloaf, just like St. Albert's is known for their barbecue.
And the Lions for their tater tot casserole.
I can't stand that thing. Oh my God! Who the hell came up with tater tot casserole? It's the nastiest stuff I've ever. 6 pounds of hamburger.
My son won't eat it.
I-
He never has. He has to have his food separate.
do I.
You know,
Oh, I
he
love
can't.
it.
You know, he
Yeah.
can't have his corn mixed up with, or his beans. Mixed up with hamburger.
Yeah.
He's just been He's always been a picky eater.
Oh, it's terrible. Hey, and also want you to remember, you still have time. If you want Santa to come to your door, yep, that's true. He'll come right to your door, knock on your door, and bring gifts to your kiddos. There's still time to do that. Go to the Sun Prairie Lions page, Facebook page, and hit the Sign Up Genius and get that scheduled. I do know that we're almost full for Christmas Eve, so hurry and get in there before you do it. For Christmas Eve, it's $50 per visit, so it's a big one. And like I said, we're almost full. This past weekend, 5 Santas went out. Oh my gosh. I think I had 8 visits. 8 visits. $25 a visit. Not too bad. But it's a great time. The kids will love it. Trust me, trust me, trust me. Do this. It's just a wonderful way to ring in the year and all that. Maureen, Crombie, Brent, Eisberner, thank you so much for being on today. You guys are awesome as always. Enjoy being around you both. And also, thanks for what you do for the city of Sun Prairie as our alder persons. And Maureen, thanks for leading us as the president of the city council.
Thanks for having us on here.
You're welcome. You guys are welcome anytime. Just stop by. If I don't have a guest, just pop in. You don't have anything to do, right?
Yeah.
So let's go back to some music and we'll get out of here. I will see you on Wednesday for the Sun Prairie Real Estate Show. We'll do a little Christmas version of the real estate show, and then I'm off to Florida. Can't wait. So here you go. I love Borough Lives right here on 103.5 WLSP. The Sun. Good morning, everybody. Merry Christmas. Have a chilly willy day. See ya.
Where do you get the Santa costumes? All 5 of them.
We
You
bought
guys
them.
buy it? We bought them?
We bought. I think I spent $89 on it.
Yeah, a piece about, yeah.
For mine. I don't know if the others guys spent, but
Yeah.
I think mine's the coolest looking one, by the way.
Yeah, my daughter woke up with stuffy nose and all that stuff and not feeling great. And so
Shit.
we had to work who was staying home with her. And I have court this afternoon, so.
Uh-oh.